Hello everyone, I'd like to share my Keqing build and her team compositions with you in this short guide. I start with her build, then go over her team compositions and at the end some Abyss gameplay.
Stand clear! Everybody stand! Enhanced animal modules, cut to the chase! Incoming! Ah!
Back when the game first launched, Keqing was actually considered one of the strongest characters because her charge attacks deal so much damage. To be fair, people weren't very familiar with elemental reactions, and as soon as melt and vaporize combs became popular, she kind of fell off a little bit, but she's still a good character and I think a fan favorite in general. The reason I made this guide now though is because with the newly released 4-star character Kushu Sara, she's kind of a support like Bennett. She provides an attack buff, but the thing about 4-star characters, eventually you will get them to Constellation 6. And as you see, her Constellation 6 actually provides an crit damage buff for electro damage. So it's an attack buff and crit damage buff in one button. And as you know, crit damage is one of the most valuable stats. This actually grants a lot of value to electro characters, and this might bring Keqing back into the meta. For build, it's actually pretty straightforward. She has a physical build and an electro build, and both of them are pretty similar. Both of them want attack, crit rate, crit damage, try to avoid elemental mastery and energy recharge. And for her physical build, obviously build physical bonus damage, and for her electro build, obviously build electro bonus damage. For her talents, luckily it's the same thing for both builds, so prioritize her normal attacks, then go into her elemental skill and then her elemental burst skill. For constellations, they don't majorly change her gameplay, it's just a damage increase for herself. For her weapons, obviously if you have a weapon with crit rate or crit damage, it's really good for both builds. If you have a weapon with attack percentage, it's good as well, but a little less valuable. I recommend the Black Sword, otherwise you could go for the Paimon Shop weapons, and if you don't have any of those, you can go for the Lion's Roar or the Flute. I don't necessarily recommend something with physical damage bonus because it's really easy to switch between her builds, and so you might as well pick a weapon that works for both. Obviously, if you have a 5-star weapon, don't even think about it, use it. For her artifacts, we already covered the substats earlier, so let's get into the main stats. It's always attack percentage here, always electro damage or physical damage here, whichever one fits your build, and crit damage or crit rate, whichever one balances your stats better in the last slot. For the set effects, there are actually some that make it really easy to switch between builds because they work for both builds. One being the Thunder Soother. It increases damage against opponents by 35% if they are affected by Electro, and Keqing has a really high application rate, so it's basically all the time. And the second one being the new set, since Keqing mainly deals damage with charged attacks, this one works as well for both builds. So essentially, you only need to change the cap from physical to electro damage or other way around to change your build. If you want to lock yourself into a single build for physical damage, you obviously have access to the Pale Flame set, and you can always pair the 2-piece Pale Flame set with the 2-piece Bloodstained Chivalry set. For the Electro build, you could always pair a 2-piece Thundering Fury with a Gladiator 2-piece set. For her team compositions, whether you run her as electro or physical, she's always a main DPS and you want to pair her with 2 supports and a healer. If you run her as electro, you want to pair her with something that lowers resistances, so basically Zhongli or Anemo characters. I think Zhongli or Kazuha are the best options. Other than that, you could pick Venti, but if he sucks in enemies, Keqing might not be able to reach them. You could pick Sucrose as well, but Elemental Mastery isn't that valuable with Electro reactions. Other than that, you want a second support that is a sub DPS, so anything that deals damage while you aren't on that character. So basically Jingshou, Fischl, Zhangling or Beidou are good options. Obviously, I already mentioned it earlier, I think a really good option would be a Constellation 6 Sarah as well, because she provides an attack buff and on top of that a crit damage buff to Keqing, to the Electro Keqing, that is. In the last slot you always want a healer. I think Jean is a good option. You can replace your Anemo character, your Anemo support character, because she provides the Viridescent set. Or most people use Bennett because he provides the attack buff. If you picked another support that is Pyro, you also get Pyro Resonance. For Keqing's physical build, you obviously need a cryo support to enable Superconduct. Rosaria is great, she provides a crit chance buff, and if you have Constellations, she actually increases your physical damage as well. Kaya is a good budget option. Since Keqing is a sword user, she won't shatter the freeze effect, so for extra safety I recommend a Hydro character here, like Jingshou, or if you have her, Mona is even better. In the last slot you obviously need a healer. You could pick your go-to healer like Bennett, or even Jean, or even better to replace one of your supports. You could pick a Hydro character like Barbara, or a Cryo character like Diona. If you do that, and a good replacement for one of these supports, whichever element you picked your healer as, would be Zhongli to increase physical damage, or Xinyan would increase physical damage as well, or you could pick just some utility support like Kazuha or Venti if you need to group up enemies. I tried to demonstrate the physical build really quick on this Ruin Guard. So the first thing you want to do is obviously apply Electro and Cryo to apply Superconduct. So I'm gonna use my E skill here, then I'm gonna use my Q skill with Diona into the Q skill of Mona to freeze him. And then I can freely attack the Ruin Guard. Now I'm gonna leave you with some Abyss gameplay. Unfortunately I haven't done Abyss on my main account yet, so it's only floor 9, but gameplay wise it doesn't look that different from floor 12, so you should still get a decent impression on Keqing and endgame content through this.
Nowhere to hide. Don't blink. Ring cutter. I'm going in. Speed of light. Ha. Yeah. Incoming. Ha.
Alright, we made it to the end. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this gave you some inspiration for your own builds, and stay tuned for more guides in the future. Until then, have fun and David, and bye bye.